what is the impact that grief has on the physical health? So grief has a lot of impact on the physical health. So one would think that grief just affect you mentally or emotionally, right? Because mentally and emotionally they are intertwined. So one would think that grief affect you only in those two areas, but grief affect you so much physically. Grief affects you physically in that it can cause sleep disturbance. And I remember in the beginning of my grief, or in the first few years of my grief, I did not have any appetite to sleep. I don't know why I didn't want to sleep. I didn't have no appetite to go to sleep. And the only reason why I would go to sleep or force myself to sleep is because I have to wake up in the morning to get my son ready for school, and then I would have to get myself ready for work. So that's the only reason why I would force myself to sleep. Another way that grief affects you physically is that it can cause you to become extremely fatigued. You can become very fatigued and exhausted. So I have suffered from fatigue and exhaustion for a very long time. My fatigue started diminish when I started to do my walking exercise, which was like a year and a half ago. For 2 years, I was very, very, very fatigued. I was so tired. I could not keep up. I could not do anything. As I said, I would just do the most important things that needed to be done. I was just in survival mode, and I just do the things that need to be done within a particular day, and that's that. So I was just living one day at a time. Another thing that you may suffer from is headache. I have suffered from extreme headaches. From the beginning of my grieving process until today, I have been suffering from headaches. And I just found out like a couple days ago what the name of my headache is that I have been suffering from. It is a rare headache, and it's called hemicrania continua headache. And this headache is a constant headache. It does not go away. It is, but it never goes away. I have been to my primary, I have been to my neurologist, and I tell them all my symptoms, and they just could not tell me what I am suffering from. They concluded it to be migraine headache, and with all the symptoms that I was having, I knew that it was not migraine headache, and I continued to research to see what this headache is and why it doesn't go away. And then I found out that it is hemicrania continua headache. So you may suffer from headaches, right? I have been suffering, as I said, from the beginning of my grieving process until today. I have been suffering from headaches, and I am still seeking ways, right, how to get rid of these headaches. So I have suffered severely, right? Physically, mentally, and emotionally, I have suffered. Another impact is mood alterations. You would just find your mood constantly shifting, right? So you would have your ups and your lows, your ups and your lows. And then if you have suffered from depression, I guess that will even affect your mood more. At times you may feel happy. You may feel happy right now in this moment, and then in the next moment you are sad. Another impact is just general ache and pains wherever over the body, because grief causes inflammation in your body. The level of stress that your body have to go through during the grieving process, it causes your body to become inflamed, and as such, it causes aches and pain. Another impact that grief may have on your body is high blood pressure, and that is one thing that I have suffered from as well. During this process, I have developed high blood pressure, and I believe that it is temporary, and I'm praying that it is temporary, and that, as I change my diet and as I aim to become more healthy, that the blood pressure itself will also just diminish and go away. It can cause you to have dizziness also, and shaking. So, in the beginning of my grief process, I remember just having a period where I was just shaking, like my body's just shaking, just shaking. I didn't know why. But yeah, you may also suffer from muscle weakness. These are some of the ways that you can suffer physically by the impact of grief.